In today's episode, Jim asks, my organization has years of data stored up. What can we do with it? Now, it depends on how clean the data is, but in this case, Jim and I were actually talking in an event recently, and the data is clean, it's tagged, which means that someone has gone through and applied a taxonomy to it. This is a piece of data about this is a piece of data about this is the age of the data, this is the author of the data, and Jim has the taxonomy, which is so important and so valuable. Now, there's two things you can do with a big pile of data. Number one is, as long as the data is relevant to your business, you can use it to make your business better. And you do this through the hierarchy of analytics. The hierarchy of analytics is where you take the data. In fact, let's bring it up here. Take the data, make sure that you have the data, and it's clean, it's compatible, it's well chosen, it is complete, it is comprehensive. And that is step one. Step two is to run analysis on that data. And the analysis you're going to run is to understand why certain things work. So you'll need to spend some time doing what's called feature engineering to extract out more characteristics of this data. Jim's data is a lot of text. And so extracting out features like the most common nouns and verbs, the average reading level, what is the key topic this data is about, who is the author, what's the personality of the author, what's the sentiment and the emotion inside of the data. And building out that will help you move from descriptive analytics, which is, so what is the stuff, what happened, to start to get to diagnostic analytics, which is why are certain things working well. One of the key things that this data archive is missing, because it's a large body of text, is any kind of outcome, like how many people have read the original text, was it shared on social media, how much organic search traffic does it get, and that's valuable information. From there, you build a predictive model or many predictive models on the data to try and understand, what does the data tell us? What can the data help us forecast? Jim's data is all data that is essentially documentation. So what does it tell us about requests that people make for specific inquiries? And then we can use those requests to forecast what's likely to happen next. And then the fourth step in the hierarchy, and one where, at least for what's available on the market now, is sort of the stopping point, is that prescriptive, which is we can use the data to help us determine a course of action. So if a ton of people read and annotated and commented on this page, when we create future pages that are similar for similar products or for similar events, what things made those popular pages popular that we can apply as lessons to help us guide, to prescribe what's going to happen next. So that's the first use case for Jim's data, which is to use the data and build, as we mentioned, different models throughout it. A feature engineering model to help make it more complete, a predictive model to help forecast from it, a prescriptive model to understand what to do next. And that's a sort of applying machine learning at a utilitarian level to this data to make it more valuable. The second thing you can do with the data is really that transformative effect. How do we take this data now and turn it into something that's valuable not just for the organization, but perhaps for the organization's customers or for non-competitive peer companies? Every time you develop a process for managing a source of data, processing it, refining it, cleaning it, building from it, you are creating models and techniques and code that are intellectual property assets. This is a fundamental part of what is called digital transformation, where you now have digital stuff that you can then resell or license or share with like companies in your space and make money from it. The most famous example of this is American Airlines. Back in the 80s, they created the Sabre booking system for reservations. It was so effective that they licensed it out to a bunch of other airlines at very high costs. But it was such a better experience for the customer that it made them a whole bunch of money as a system in itself. That has nothing to do with the actual airplane, other than it was to put butts in seats. The same thing is true of anything that you build on top of your data. If you create a system that is really good at this type of data, and other companies have very similar kinds of data stored up, you can create and then license this technology to those other companies at a fee to apply your models to their data. And that, in some cases, can be a very lucrative business, because other companies that are not as far ahead, or in many cases, other companies that don't have as much data or don't have it as clean, or it's not as robust, are at a significant disadvantage when it comes to training their software on data sources. So if you've got the data, you can license the data. If you've got the model that's pre-trained based on a bespoke data set, yours, you can sell the model, because in a lot of cases you can pick up the model and move it around to another like industry. So Jim is in a very good place from a transformative perspective in terms of taking this data and moving around. So those are really the two big things you can use data for. You can use it yourself as a utility and build models and things on top of it, or once you do that, you can apply it to other companies if it's appropriate to do so. So great question, a fun question, because there's a lot of opportunity, opportunity to do really cool stuff, really interesting things that can make your company and many other companies better. So thanks for the question. Please leave any follow-up questions in the comments, and of course subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.